just want to show you how we share the story about how the ink is manufactured. The first thing we say is that these are the Series 2 cans, Series 3, and Series 4. So all three of these are manufactured here in these two buildings. The actual ink manufacturing process itself begins with our isopar solvent, which is also known as imaging oil. And this is a common factor that will be either added or removed as we go through the manufacturing process. So the first thing we do is we take these resin molecules just like this. Sometimes I hand this around, right? And those get heated up together. And what they do after the heating up and mixing is they form a paste, which is about the consistency of toothpaste. So that is step one, is we have that paste. The next thing we have is a pigment powder. So the powder is actually ground and made here, and then it is mixed together again with our favorite isopar, and the end of that is what we call a pigment solution, very creative naming. And we can see there that, again, because of the isopar, it's now a liquid. So now what happens is we take the pigment solution and the paste, and they get added together with the ball bearings. So this is also known as grinding media. So these go together into big grinders, and they will grind for somewhere between 35 and 58 hours. So that's really a lot of time grinding. That's necessary to get the very small particle size. So what comes out of that is what is known as end of grind, another creative name. But as I mentioned yesterday, it's not yet indigo ink because it is not the LEP, the liquid electrophotographic ink. It's just a mixture before a special magic ingredient, the charging additive, is added to it. So the final, the second to the last, the semi-ultimate step is for these two to be, the charging additive to be added. A few other things are also added to just improve the performance of the ink on substrate. And the end result of that is what is known as the final charged ink. So this you can't really see on the video, but it's a little bit liquid in there. And this is not yet what goes into the can. Because if we put this into the ink cans, it's too liquid at the moment, and there wouldn't be any reason to combine it with the imaging oil on the press. So the actual final stage is to remove the isopar down to a very dense concentration. So you can see here it's almost dry again, and with little clumps in it. And this concentrated ink is what would go into a Series 4 can. So the different series have different concentrations of the ink. So again, one of the things, not only are the ink cans larger, but because the concentration is higher, they get more clicks per square liter or milliliter, not square milliliter, but per milliliter, because of the density, the increased density on the ink just means less processing time and less need to change inks. So that is the story of indigo ink. As I said, from the isopar, just to mention for sustainability reasons, the handy thing about isopar is that the press recovers what's been in the ink and actually ends up with a positive contribution between the net coming off the press is more than what was put in, because it's also extracting that remaining little bit from the ink itself.